shortly. Don't forget to share. Talk to you. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of To a Woman's Heart, where we uplift, encourage, motivate, and empower women. So make sure you follow, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ask your questions on tonight. Okay, so tonight we're having conversations about dating in 2020. And this will be an interesting topic. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So we have myself, Renee.
I'm Cherie. I'm Nanette.
And you can't hear? Nella, can you hear? Okay, let me add her back. Can you hear me now, Nella?
Nope.
Okay. Can you hear me now? All right, guys, hold on. Say something. You can't hear? I hear you clicking. Okay. All right, we're going to wait for Nella to chime back in on the conversation for tonight's episode of To a Woman's Heart. All right, let's see. Let's put her back. All right. Say something. I hear you clicking.
I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. So, Nella, introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Donnella Lewis, and I'll be speaking for Dating in 2020 for the 40-year-olds.
Okay. And Cherie is going to be speaking for
the 30-year-olds.
And Nanette is going to be speaking for
the 50-year-olds.
And of course, that good old 60 is here. I'm telling you, she here for it tonight. Let me tell you. She said, take the can down. But don't count. All right. So, for those who's just joining in, like I said, we're talking about dating in 2020. This should be an interesting conversation tonight, because it's a thing now in dating in 2020. So, Cherie, what's your take on dating in 2020?
It is not for the faint at heart.
Can you
be it is trill out here in these streets trying to date in 2020.
Okay. Nettie, what's your take on dating?
I don't have a take yet, because I'm brand new to this. You know, I just became legal in July. So I got to get my feet wet first, So.
Okay. Nella, what's your take on dating in 2020?
2020 it has been extremely hard. Honestly, I think you can't even count this year, because we were all like stuck in the house, so that made it even worse. But definitely, it's a lot to be said, a lot that we can like go over, but it's been extremely hard.
So what makes it difficult while we send a pandemic dating in 2020? What's the difficulties?
The difficulty is, for one, with the social distancing, getting to know somebody new. You can't be around them too much, and you just don't know who they're around. So it's still a safety issue.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's been like the main thing. Um, just being safe and not with things not being open, like a lot of restaurants and things like that. There's
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of places you could have went to.
Mm-hmm.
So
So don't you think in the middle of sitting in COVID that if you was dating that if that person really wanted to get to know you, that they can be creative?
I agree. I agree. My philosophy is, and I've said it before, and I said it to the day I die, if he's not pursuing you, remove you. I'm still young. I'm in the middle. I'm young and not young. But I still go by the old school values. Like if a man really wants you, he's gonna pursue you at all costs. He's gonna make it happen. He's gonna create the dates, or he's going to if I, he could have took the time in this pandemic to get to know everything about you, from your
Exactly.
family, your kids, and so that way by the time you guys go out or anything like that, I mean, it's like we've been knowing each other forever already.
Right, right. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So, what have you learned about yourself as it relates to dating in 2020? Sheree, what have you learned?
This is foolishness.
It's foolishness. Why is it foolishness? Why? Be more specific. Why is it foolishness?
I don't think it really has anything to do with the pandemic. I just think it's where we are in the world in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like dating is not what it used to be even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Like it's just so different with the way men approach you, or there's no more, oh, let's go on a date. It's let's Netflix and chill.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as somebody meets you, they want to come to your house. I don't know you. You could be an ex murderer.
Right.
You don't need that much access to me. It's
Right.
so many different layers to it, which makes it a lot of it foolishness.
Okay, so here's the question. So, do you think that the way some women have set it up with men makes it difficult for dating?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. 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 Um, it was already hard before 2020 hit. So this year has made it extreme, like a little bit harder. But it had no bearings on how, as Cherie said, the dating scene beforehand. Um, you got guys that it's like all of the old school values are gone away. Like nobody wants to court you and before trying to initiate the next level. Like a lot of people ain't on that. For me, I know that I've been single for a few years, and people that know me know the reasons for the prior years, but these last 2.5 years, I put a standard to myself that I was not going to settle for nothing that I did not want. And
Mm-hmm.
if that meant me being by myself, I'm fine with that. Like I get it all the time, like, oh, you're a nice looking girl, you seem like you got, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't feel like I should compromise all of that for, just to say I got a boyfriend or just to show people on social media or anything like that. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for, whether it's a pandemic or not, and I refuse to settle.
So, have women made it okay
Yes.
to
They
just
have,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, I think
yeah.
so. I'm not even
Absolutely.
dating all the way yet. I think so terribly. I've seen some of the things that Cherie has gone through, and I can only imagine probably what Nella herself has gone through. And the men, like Cherie was alluding to earlier, they don't come to you say, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever is, "Hey, shorty," Miss Thing, or whatever they come up with it. They have, I don't know if you want to call it respect, and they don't have even enough respect to just, come to you in a correct manner to say, "Hey, I'm interested in you. Can I talk to you? Can I get your number?" Whatever have you. Then they come with this name, Pimp Daddy or Cat Cow or whatever their little nickname is. And I agree with Cherie. Okay, what did your mother name you? I know that's not your government name, and some of them get highly offended because it works on all the other women that like Nella talking about, but it don't work on you. Then you're labeled as being, the B word, or you think you all this, or right, you bougie and all this kind of stuff. But like Nella said, no, I know what I want. I know how I expect a man to come to me and treat me. You just used to these little what you call them out here? Knuckleheads, thoughts, or whatever you want to call them out here. That's what you're used to. You're not used to meeting a real woman who knows what she wants, and you're gonna come to me in a certain type of way.
So, do you think women have lowered their standards just for the sake of having a man?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that there are a lot of women who have gone through the stage of being extremely lonely, or just because all of my friends or sisters are getting married and stuff like that, they settle for anything. And I can speak for myself. I have several sisters that are married. I have had some of my sisters that were dating. I go to a lot of weddings and different social gatherings, and I never let that pressure me. It's not about me being jealous of them or anything like that, but I've never let just because they had someone make me feel like I needed somebody. I don't care what social media think. I don't care. You can think I'm dating. You can think I'm not dating. You can think like whatever you think, because at the end of the day, they're gonna have an opinion if you dating somebody. They're gonna have an opinion if you're not dating somebody. So, I mean, I just feel like that it's the standards have definitely been lowered. Um, I'm by no means imperfect for myself. There's been things that, like, I'm not saying I did terrible things, but I mean we've all done something. So
Right.
and I've even stood by somebody's side that has done me terribly wrong. Trying to keep just to say that you had somebody. But when you get to a point when they say when you need to know your worth, when you honestly get to that point where you know your worth for real, you will not settle.
Yeah.
You will not.
Agree.
So the question is, what do we do about that as a woman?
Don't lower your standards. I mean, as a woman, you have to make that assessment for yourself and say, hey, look, I deserve this. I don't care if all my friends get married, all my sisters married, whatever it is, because that comes along with it. And as you get older, you thinking like, oh my gosh, I feel that way to a certain degree. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in my, I'm not in my late 30s. I'm in my very early 30s. But, in your mind, you put yourself on this timetable. Oh, it'll happen by the time I'm 25. I'll have this by the time I'm 30. And when it doesn't work like that, you're sitting there looking like, wait, what happened? Where did the time go? And sometimes that can play a big part in women lowering their standards because they put themselves on this timetable. I'm supposed to be married by I'm 25. I'm supposed to have my kids by the time I'm this. And again, like Nella said, you're going to all these weddings and, sisters are married, best friends are, and you kind of sometimes begin to feel left out. But even in that feeling left out doesn't mean that you have to settle because you feel left out.
Right.
Okay, so I'm 60 and I'm not married. I don't feel like I'm left out, but I'm still not going to cheapen what I deserve. You follow what I'm saying? And sometimes women will settle because they feel like they don't have an option, or nobody else will love them, or nobody will like them when they even think about it. And somebody has put in their mind, well, you'll never be good enough for nobody. And that's what that person thinks. So we also have to think highly of ourselves. And we can't let nobody define who we are as women, even if we're not married. And sometimes women let people define them.
I agree. Because sometimes women will tell you what's wrong. Sometimes people in your family, other women in your family, well, something must be wrong with you. You ain't got no man. You ain't had no man in 10 years. Okay, Ann, what's your point? You got a man, but you don't want me to talk about your man, do you?
Right.
I'm just saying, so sometimes you just have to be real with people, whether you like it or understand it. Okay, you got who you got, and I don't think it's all that, but that's your business. This is my business. And so I'm gonna mind my business, and my business right now is to take care of me. And like again, Nella said, okay, when you come to me, you need to come to me in the right way. And I'm just not going to accept any man, Pac-Man, the mailman, the milkman, because I want a man. Okay, that's not going to work for me.
Right.
Okay, I'm older in my life now. I have pretty much a good idea. I don't just have an idea. I know what I want, and like you said, I know what I'm worth.
Mhm.
So why would I settle for the milkman if I don't want the milkman?
Right.
Right.
I'm not going to be happy.
Right.
I'm going to get more problems out of it in the end.
Right.
So you just better off just waiting until you find a man, or let the man find you, as it should be, who's for you.
Okay. Does spirituality play in the role of dating?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I ain't dated yet,
Absolutely.
but it shows
It absolutely does.
It does. By me being a PK, that's all I know is church. Since a baby. So I know a few years ago, I told my dad I got upset with with the dating thing. And I told my dad, I'm like, man, I would rather have a guy on the street. I would rather date a guy on the street than have a church guy, because they not about nothing. And I can't make that assumption or judgment, put that judgment on every church man. But from what I know, and from what I've seen, what I've been around, it's
Mhm.
like you would rather take a guy from the street and sort of train him, if that's the correct word to use, and bring him in the church where he would get to know, for know God for himself and all of that, and help him build on his spirituality, versus getting somebody who already in the church, and it's like he done mess with so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. It's like, and people don't think that they play a lot of part, but again, it go back to your worth. If you don't want a guy that's done talk to 25 other people you talk to, you're not gonna settle for him.
Right. Right. Right.
Spirituality does play a part. Nella, church is all I know. And I see it both ways. I've dated guys in church, dated guys outside the church, and there's pros and cons to both.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just you gotta weigh out which one is better than the other at that point. Because again, like Nella said, when you grow up in church, you see a lot of things from men, hear a lot of things, know a lot of things, and so yeah, you really want all that drama to come along with it? And then on the flip side, dating outside of that, sometimes I've had a situation where somebody told me one time, "You go to church too much. I feel like I'm competing with the church for your attention."
Mhm.
And I was like, we're going to have a problem already, because I'm not going to stop this is who I am.
Right.
So you either got to get with it, or you got to get gone, because I'm not going to stop what I know to do,
Right.
because you feel like it's now becoming a threat to you.
Right.
So
what have you learned about yourself in the midst of in the dating for 2020? What have you learned about yourself?
Well, I've been on this thing even before 2020, but it's just gotten a little better now. I had already set the standard from a previous relationship. Like after that, I was like, it's all about me time. Like, there were still some things that I had to work on for myself. It was time for me to focus more on a lot of things. I haven't accomplished all of those things, but it was again about me. It wasn't me trying to go out and find nobody. If it happened, it happened. If I went on dates, I went on dates. That's fine. But it also made me just sit down and say, hey, when God is ready to send that individual to me, it's gonna be without me having to go look for it, without me having to have to go work for it or any of that. And everybody has their own time schedule. It's
Right.
no set time. And again, like Cherie said, we always get caught up like, oh man, if it ain't happened by this date, then it ain't gonna never happen. I've been there. Just imagine being 40 years old and you just and people haven't seen you dating somebody publicly, let
Mm-hmm.
me say that publicly, in a few
Mm-hmm.
years. So they go and say, oh, it's got to be her. She got to be the problem. She got to be the issue. When in reality, no, that's not the issue. I'm just taking time to not only learn myself, but I'm also taking time to, when a guy do approach me, I'm letting him know up front what I
Mm-hmm.
want instead of letting us get 6 and 7 months, a year in, and then I said, oh man, well, I don't like, a guy doing this, or I expect a guy to do that. Well, I don't let a whole year pass, and that's not what I, put the standard up front. So now it's all on the line. This is what I want. I'm looking for a serious relationship. I'm looking to get married. I'm not rushing you to get married, but those are my expectations. And if that's something that you're not willing to do or not looking for, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not the girl for you. And I'm sorry.
Right. So, do you think that we as women have reversed the roles? We become the chaser of
Absolutely.
men.
Oh,
And
yeah.
some women absolutely, because now, because what you see, what the world has made popular.
Yes.
It's okay to slide at the man DMs and pursue him and all of that. And when you're not that type of woman to be like, no, I'm supposed to be the one who's being chased after,
Right.
then you're looked upon, oh, you're too old school, or your values are, that's what happened back in the day with our grandparents and all of that thing. For me personally, I'm younger, but I have an old school mentality. Like, I'm the prize. And if you don't think I'm the prize, dude,
Absolutely.
I don't know what
Absolutely.
to say. I'm not chasing nobody.
Right.
Chasing
That's
back.
my thing. I never been that girl that had to chase guys, and I'm not gonna start because, again, for Nella, and I'll say for a lot of women, there are like some people that have like daddy issues, and they searching for love. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody that's gonna love them, they gonna, they with whatever you giving, as long as you showing me some type of form of affection. With me, my daddy been around all my life. I don't have daddy issues. You call me a queen, my daddy been calling me a queen all my life. What else do you have? You
Right.
say that yes, you're beautiful and all that. My daddy texts me and tell me that all the time. So what else besides the normal things are we trying to get? Are we trying to build with each other? Again, are you looking for marriage? Are you in your kids' life? Those are things I look for, because I personally can't date a man that uh does, if he has kids, does not have a relationship, because my kids have dealt with that, and again, how I was raised, that's all I know is family. So I can't, it's certain things that I just cannot deal with, or I won't deal with.
Okay, so here's a question that just come to mind. The way some women that's single now, whether they're 60, 50, 40, 30, or 20, some women's mentality as a relationship is set up from their mother. You understand what I'm saying? So if your mother don't instill things in you, and you see your mother having men in the house like a revolving door, then that may be the form of love that you think is love that's really not love.
That's true. That's true. I think it goes both ways. It each parent has a 50-50 uh way that affects your life, because again, yeah, if you see your mom getting beat on, or you see her bringing any men in and out the house, of course that's kind of like, some women do go that route.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if your dad hasn't been around, a lot of people are searching for that daddy figure.
Mm-hmm.
But there are those that have went through all of that and
Mm-hmm.
still know what they want.
Right. So do you think we can change men?
No.
No, you
No.
can only change. You can only change yourself. You can't change. You can only change yourself. And again, what the ladies are speaking to tonight, you just have to keep your standards.
Mm-hmm.
It is like you say, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, okay, fine. I'm happy with me.
And be upfront and honest. I
Yes,
mean,
I
be
think that.
upfront and honest. When I meet a guy, case in point, the guy that I'm currently dating, the first thing I ask him was, what are you trying to do? Are you looking for a wife, a concubine, a friend? A friend with, like, tell me what you're trying to do. So let me make the decision on if what you're saying aligns with what I want. Don't take my decision away from me. And then on the flip side, for ladies, if a man tell you that he's not looking for something serious, he's only looking for this or that, believe him, because he's telling you what he's looking for. Yeah. You can't change a man's mind. A man will change when he's ready to change. Right. So if he tell you that he don't want you, he don't want you. He don't want you. Never let a man tell you more than once that he don't want you. Right. Right. Because you're setting yourself up for failure.
But this is where some women go in. They think, well, I know what he said, but he's showing me something else, and I think I can go and I can change. You put all this effort in there, and then you just wasting your time.
Waste of time. If a man tell you, hey, I'm looking for an FOB, he looking for an FOB. If that's what he's telling you, believe what he's telling you. Because men most time will tell us the truth. We tune it out and we hear what we want to hear because, oh, maybe he gave me a few dollars, or he got my hair done, he got my nails done, or whatever.
Bought me some shoes.
Right, or whatever, what to consider as, so amazing. I have a male best friend, and some of the things he tell me that all he has to do for these women, for them to be like so excited, I be like, well, that's all you get. You said some flowers, and she going that hard for some flowers?
That's because some women's expectations are not high enough. Right. And what they consider as love is really not love. Right. Because if you buy me some flowers, don't mean I'm going to bed with you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So your mentality of what you expect out of a relationship you got to know what you want from that individual. And if you don't know what you want from that individual, you're pretty much wasting your time.
And sometimes flowers is just flowers.
Yeah,
they just flowers.
But people make some women make more out of flowers or a box of candy. Yeah. Especially if nobody has never done that before.
Yeah, they go hard in the paint over something that you or I would think, okay, well, that's nice, thank you, I appreciate it.
What else
and you would move on. But as you say, some women they just turns them out, so to speak. That he, like she said, got my nails done or whatever, what have you, and I can get my own nails done.
Thank you, but I can do that. Right. I can buy my own Uggs. Thank you.
Yeah, but you're gonna need to come harder than that.
You want to pay a car note?
Yeah.
Want to pay a light bill?
You gonna come?
Want to pay a water bill?
Yeah. You got to come harder than that. Yeah. Than just flowers, shoes, candy. I mean, you have to put the effort in. Relationships are a two-way street.
Right. Absolutely.
And we can't be in a relationship if I'm doing all the work and you reaping all the benefits.
Yeah, because a relationship won't last. Trust me, it won't last like that if only one person is doing all the work. Somewhere in here, somebody gonna get tired.
Right, right.
Be it the man or be it the woman, you're going to get tired. And I agree with the ladies were saying earlier. Say up front what is your expect. Don't waste your time. If you have certain standards, I've got standards. And I'm not gonna settle for wanting something else different. Baby mama drama, I can't handle that. I already know I can handle. I'll be able to cut somebody, and it's not worth it to me. So guess what? Ain't no sense in no man stepping to me with no bunch of baby mama drama because you already off my list.
Absolutely.
Right.
So again, like Mel said, if you got things on your list that that you for sure certain this is what you want, this is what you're looking for, don't settle for less.
Right. Because
you feeling the pressure or whatever society or social media or whatever is saying. That's what I would say.
Right.
Right.
Right. So you think you should have a list of your requirements up front?
I think you should have a list. I don't think you should, as soon as you go on the first day, be like, damn, slamming on the table.
I'm not saying slamming on the table, but you should have a list of what you require from the relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in time, when you talking, over the first 2-3 weeks, everybody, oh, how's the family? Like how, your relationship with all this, that, all of those things will come into the conversation. Mm-hmm. So within the first month, if he don't know what your standards is, something wrong. Why you ain't told him your standards yet?
Well, that's true. But some women just be excited about the meal.
That's the problem. Mm-hmm.
It ain't no good meal at that.
Yeah. People say nowadays they just want the $40 and that's it. I'm not a $40 girl. Mm-mm.
Period.
Buy your own meal.
Child, they ain't even take you. Know they take you to TGI Friday.
TGI Friday.
TGI Friday. Some at they 2020. Some of these men don't know nothing about taking you out for real. For real, they think going to Fridays, Chili's. That's top end. Baby, we grown. I was doing that in high school. What you get?
Yeah, well,
See, like with me, even though I have standards, I don't feel like okay. So the thing is that you can have standards, but don't try to give nobody no standards that you ain't willing to meet or cannot meet.
True, I agree with that 100%.
So I mean, I'm good with yeah, let's go to a fancy place. But if in the beginning, he says, well, whatever situation, or if he say, oh, just for fun. I mean, because I'm a pretty open person. Like I don't think just because he take you to get a prime rib or a big steak or to one of these fancy steakhouses, that means that he got all the money or gonna take care of you and all of that, because people front all day long. They gonna treat you up front. And then you 6-7 months in, and then you like, wow, what happened to, if he up front, like it's been said, and even if he said, well, let's go to Fridays, maybe he trying to test you too.
Well, that's true.
See what kind of female you are, because what if it's a stand-up guy who's been dating nothing but females that have been users, and he testing you to see if that's exactly what you want. I don't mind going to Fridays on the first date, because we ain't gonna do nothing but sit there and talk anyway, whether we at a steakhouse or Fridays. It's the same conversation gonna happen.
He's taking to
okay, so I got a question. The question is, would you be upset if a guy used a coupon on a date?
No.
Well, now you ain't gonna use no coupon. Now, I ain't gonna go that far.
Well, I'm cool with a coupon.
I'm a coupon girl, so it wouldn't bother me. Now I'm cool with a coupon. Save $1, so it wouldn't bother me.
Nah.
I think it's the mentality of the woman. Because some women would not be okay with
some women would
a coupon on a date.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
But then again, like Nella just said, you have to know the person to whom you're going on a date with, because some women.
So Cherie kind of like contradicted herself, because you don't want to go to TGI Friday, but you'll let them use a coupon on you.
So I'm not saying that I won't go to TGI Friday. I think for certain situations.
So you'll go to a steakhouse and let him use a coupon on you?
Absolutely, girl. Well, you know what? Coupons don't bother me. I'm not saying I wouldn't go to TGI Friday. So I'm not. Some of the guys that I'm just going to say that I've encountered.
Okay.
They don't know anything else other than
TGI Friday.
A TGI Friday.
Right.
Which I think is where I'm going with it. Not, because you can take me to, I don't care really about that. More so for me, it's, are you trying to expand your horizon on all different levels, not just maybe a restaurant level, but if we go to Fridays and all you saying is, you know what I'm saying? Let me get this much.
See, but somebody like that wouldn't even get me out on a date. Because if you talk to him on the phone, you see him saying and all of that. He done said that before you went on a date. So
that's true.
Sometimes true and sometimes not, because take it. A guy who approached me, I've been knowing him since grammar school.
Mm-hmm.
He said he wanted to take me out. Cool. Fine. We never went on a date because essentially of our conversation. Because the whole conversation was, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I don't really know what you're saying.
Right.
Can you use
some grammar, some correct
English? Like, and I'm the type where we all use incorrect grammar. We all talk, ebonics to a certain degree, but there's a certain time when I need for you to be able to hold a legitimate conversation. Right. So I can actually understand what you're saying. Because at this moment of time, I don't really have a clue.
See, that's why I say where the prelude come in at. Before you get to the dinner date and all this stuff, you have a little mild conversation before you get there. Put some things out there so you can know mental wise what type of person you're dealing with. You understand? Because I'm not going to nobody's restaurant to be embarrassed.
Right. I agree with
They're
that.
hollering, talking about, yo, can I get a? No, we're not doing that because I will leave you sitting at the table
Absolutely.
and I will be walking out the door.
Absolutely.
I'm not selling it. That's just something I'm not doing. Now I don't care, if we just get to know each other and that's all your pockets can afford. If that's what you say, then we can still have conversation, a nice little light meal. But in that conversation, or before we get to that conversation, if you show the ignorant side of you, then you're gonna be left where you at. I'm not dealing with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so I mean that's all I'm saying. Like we can go to TGI Fridays.
So here's the next question. If he explained up front that he was going to use a coupon, would you be okay with that?
I'm okay with coupon because I'm cheap.
I still say no.
I still say no.
I say yes. I'm a coupon girl.
Yeah,
Whether
I
you
don't.
explained it or not,
I don't mind.
I don't have a
honestly,
problem with it.
Well, you know what? It used to be this let's entertain us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like
right.
do that.
So something like that.
Yeah.
So, for dinner for two, that would normally cost $200, you get dinner for two for $100. So I'm assuming that's what they're talking.
But if he using a two for 200 and he got it for whatever, then we going to a real restaurant. You not finna. If you got it for a coupon for TGI Friday, that means you literally only paying like $5. Oh no, no.
Yeah, now I would now. I do they give out coupons to TGI Friday?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like honestly, I would hope like you're not using a coupon, but like I can say we're going to like Morin's, McCormick and Schmidt, something like that. Okay, you got a Groupon or something like that. I'm okay with that. Now, if you using a coupon for Applebee's, I mean Applebee's only 2 for $25.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
So here's a comment. The comment said, if the man has an issue with paying for dinner, he should try a coffee date or a walk in the park, not the coupon.
I agree.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if it's a financial issue,
right,
get creative.
right.
You don't. I used to tell somebody yesterday, you don't always have to do this big elaborate stuff all the time.
I agree with that.
Sometimes it's just the smallest things that you do that I will appreciate. I thank you for the big things. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes just to do something so simple. It goes so much further because it shows me that you took the time
to think about
sit down and plan this out. Versus it's easy to take me to the most expensive restaurant that you can think of, but it's not easy to say what's her favorite food that she likes.
Absolutely.
Where can I take her to, or just like some candles and we just have a romantic evening? I tell men this all the time. It's some of the most simplest things that you can do that will get you further than the biggest thing that you do.
Exactly. Exactly. So I got a question, and I know this comes up all the time. If you meet this guy and he's a good guy, he got a good job, he think about things, whining and dining you, all the simple things that would attract your attention, but you find out he lives at home with his mother.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Now this one, it just for me personally, it depends on the circumstances of why he lives with his mother. Because maybe mama was sick and she needed somebody there with her. She's elderly. I get that. Maybe you lost your job at one point in time. You were rebuilding, you're saving to get your own place, your own home. I get that. I have a problem when you stay with your mother and you talking about you have your own place, but it's her basement. But because you have your own interests, you think that make it special. No, baby, it's I agree with that. Because honestly, I dealt with that where guys have told me, yeah, baby, I got my own place. No, baby, this your mama's basement. I don't care if she got your own interest. This still her basement.
Right.
She come back anytime she wants to.
It is.
And if your priorities aren't aligned, then yes, I then have a problem with it, because if you got hit back every story and you still live with your mama, we got a problem. Because that tells me that your priorities
are messed up.
They aren't aligned correctly.
Right.
Yeah. Again, now if it's because mama's sick or there was some type of financial issue where you're rebuilding, I'm 100% okay with that as long as I see you're taking those necessary steps
Absolutely.
to your or independence. I'm 100% okay with that. but we ain't finna be shacking in mama basement. Like I don't know.
Now tipping through look through
No.
mama basement.
No, mama ain't finna just be walking down here telling me, so what y'all doing? No. I'm gonna have to pass on that.
What's your take on that, Nella?
I'm with Cherie. I mean, because life can throw anybody a curveball. You never know. So that's I had to learn to say never, you know, like in my early 30s, because the very thing that you say I would never do is what you're gonna find yourself in.
Mhm.
I don't feel that it's a problem again, as long as I know that there's a plan to get out of that, because if me and you dating and we serious, where we gonna move to?
Right.
Where we gonna move to?
Right. So
Because
it's some interesting comments coming through. So somebody said, "Are we talking about boys or men?"
They supposed to be men.
That's what. But this is the
But they
thing.
act like boys.
But then we're talking about men. But again, things happen. It's COVID right now.
Right.
People are getting laid off.
Yes.
There's a loss of
absolutely.
income. Things happen. Jobs move.
Right.
So again, I'm not going to discount a man because he lost his job. He don't own the company. He ain't got no control over it.
Right.
But as long as I see you taking those necessary steps where you're working on it, I
Right.
don't have a problem. It's the guys who ain't trying to get out their mom's house. They're content with staying with mom
Okay.
because
Right.
it's free for all. Because unfortunately, especially in our communities, black mamas, unfortunately, don't like to put their sons out. Matter of fact, they ain't gonna put their sons out.
That is true.
All right. So somebody said, "Woo, my husband works on my nerve, but if I had to date in this climate, I think I'd be single forever."
You feel
I
like,
agree. Yep.
honestly, you feel like that.
Well, check
I
back
said-
when the Lord bless me with husband number 2. I'll let you know.
I would tell anybody in today's times, if you got a man that's doing right, not just a man that's doing right or trying to do right,
Yeah.
work at it, because everybody like the single life that's married, and then the single people want to be married. Y'all don't want this life.
Period.
The standard of men for even my age group is terrible. And it should, I mean, people are you 40 plus, you shouldn't be acting like a 27-year-old. You shouldn't be acting like a 32-year-old. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah. But you know what? Some men, I don't care if they 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Some of them are very immature. So we think because of the age, the man is mature, and that's not always the case.
And that's why they can't talk to them.
And they can't talk to me neither. But I'm telling you right now, and what we're dealing with, you need to take him to the doctor, follow him home, check his history to make sure what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm all with it. When I started dating somebody, I ran a background check. I ran a background check on them. I want to know exactly what, and I want to see if you're going to tell me what came up on your background check.
So are you okay with him doing the background check on you?
Absolutely. Run a background check on me too. Baby, check me out too. I don't have a problem with it because I'm going to give you me in a nutshell, but sometimes men they can withhold certain things.
Okay. Right.
They definitely withhold certain things. So
A lot of things.
yeah, but again, that's why I said come into it honest. I appreciate you being honest and upfront with me in the beginning. Let me know what I need to know. That way, let me make the decision on if this is something that I decide I want to pursue. Don't let we start dating and then every 2 weeks you dropping bombshells on me. That ain't
Right.
okay.
Well, you just got to lie.
Right.
Lie. And I'm out. Because if you can't tell the truth up front, you still take away my freedom of choice. And anybody who feel like taking away your freedom of choice, that's not the person you should be with.
I get it. Now, I have been told by some men or somebody before, I don't want to tell you this because I thought it would scare you off. And I'm like,
but you still take away.
No, I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But just still give me that option to say yay or nay.
Right.
Because it may not scare me off. You don't know. You don't never know until You tell me.
Okay, so
I think
go
that
ahead, Mel.
everybody has something that they will not willing to tell up front, or they may be afraid to, especially if it's somebody who you really, really, really honestly digging. But if it's something like, oh, I done been in jail for umpteen years, or I done, like I just I'm not fully divorced or something. You need to stuff like that. You need to tell up front, because
Right.
that woman may not want to be involved with a married individual, even though you single. I mean, you separated, you still married. So you take away all my options, or whatever your past you've done. Like you say, tell me, so that way we can either deal with it up front, or I can tell you that's one of my deal breakers.
Okay, so the question is, are you ladies open to dating outside of your race? And I'll answer this question
She
first.
ain't y'all, period.
Let me tell you what my motto is. Black
Black
coffee, no sugar, no cream.
We know the mantra by heart.
No.
For me,
At this point in my life, I used to say no, like no. I mean, because I honestly love my black men, and I feel like that, they do still need strong, supportive black women, even though you see a lot of our black men go that way and they just disassociate themselves with us. But at the end of the day, I still feel like there are a lot of good black men who will appreciate a strong, independent, loving black woman. So, but over the last couple of years, I would say I've been a little bit more open, but he can't be, I'm just going to be honest. He has to have like some soul in him, not just full. Yeah. He got to have a little swag to him.
Okay.
Sure.
I would agree.
Okay, Sheree, what's your take?
I'm open, Chad.
You open?
I'm open.
Okay.
Yeah, he can have a little soul to him, but I'm open. I mean, what would I prefer? My preference, of course, would be to be with a black man, But hey, they can do it. I can do it too.
I would say I'm open. I'm open. I'm with Sheree. I need to have some soul to him.
Okay.
Some swag, definitely.
Well,
Please.
we got three yeses and one definitely no. She ain't going. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll let y'all handle that one. But I want to say, Nella, I thank you for joining on our conversation today. It was really interesting, and I hope everybody who chimed in tonight, appreciate the conversation, because it was a conversation that needs to be had.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we can learn some more things about ourselves, and hopefully when we find that person, we don't cheapen what we expect, our values and our worth. Because a lot of women, as we said earlier, because of our age, we get desperate and we just want to be like everybody else. We cheapen our value and our worth, and that's not how it should be. Because that won't create no happiness for you.
Exactly. It will not.
And it won't create no longevity in your relationship.
No, it will not.
So you'll be upset at yourself. And we have to remember that we can't change anybody.
Right.
We have to change ourselves.
Correct.
And the most important thing of all, I say pray.
Absolutely.
Put your request to the Lord, because
Yes,
he
make
knows
your
where he is.
Right.
That man that's specifically
For
for
you.
you. And I tell him all the time, when you send him, tap me on my shoulder so I can know. So I do thank y'all for tuning in. Next week, we're going to be talking about the voice of a child. So if you all want to tune in next week and listen to that conversation. But I thank y'all. We went a little bit over our time, but it's okay. Always good to have interesting conversations, because sometimes these conversations need to be had.
Absolutely.
Especially in our community, because we don't talk like we should. We talk about everything else except for the things that we need to talk about.
I agree.
And so I appreciate you ladies for joining in tonight, as usual. And that's another wrap for To a Woman's Heart. Make sure you all follow the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I've said before, there are going to be some things that's going to be only on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. And I do appreciate. Thank Nella. Love you, girl.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right.